and welcome. So, basically, what I have today is something I'm super excited to share with you guys. You know that poll I put out there, College of Guidance versus College of Choir, which one you wanted to see? Well, here comes the College of the Choir. The way I set it up, it's compatible with the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. For those of you that are super well versed in the realm of tabletop dungeon delving, bear with me while I give a brief explanation for everybody that's not as familiar with it. So the way I like to explain Dungeons & Dragons, or actually a lot of other role-playing games that are tabletop-based in general, is just pointing out the different roles that individuals play before going more in depth. So you have your DM or your GM, you know, that guy that you always see in shows where he's behind the screen and he's the one that everybody's looking to whenever he's setting up a situation. Well, the DM essentially just lays the groundwork. They make the setting. They have they make the obstacles that the players will face, and they control the NPCs, all the knowledge that the players are going to be getting, all the outside sources that they're going to be pulling from. Those are the things that the DM is going to control. With your setting set up, then you have the player characters who come in and they populate the world as these adventurers. They go through and they do their thing. Whether that be causing chaos, helping those in need, going on quests, going into dungeons. But they are essentially, in like TV, what you would see as the main protagonists of the story. Those two elements mesh together, making a cohesive story. And to add a little bit of randomness to it, you go ahead and roll different dice to determine if something was successful, if it wasn't successful, how much knowledge you were able to gain from something, or how well you were able to see something else. And that adds that I don't know what's going to happen next element to the tabletop roleplay. That said, there are a few character archetypes in Dungeons & Dragons, and they're broken down into classes. Now, I'm not going to be going into what each individual class is, but basically what it breaks down into is you've got your brutes, you've got your magic casters, you've got your fighters with finesse, you've got your nature lovers, and so on and so forth. But today, the one that I'm talking about is a bard. Now, bards actually pull their magic from their music, their poems, and just like the different arts. And that's how they get their thing. So think in Pokemon, you got Jigglypuff always walking around putting people to sleep with their songs. Or how Homer was portrayed in the live-action Xena the Warrior Princess TV show. Or Sir Robin's Minstrels in Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Give you a better idea of what a bard's generally described as. A lot of times it's like this musical individual who's super snarky, talking all this trash all the time, but they are kind of in the back. They're not right up in the action. They can still fight a little bit though. Now that you've had a general description of what a bard is, you should also know that there are additional types of bards. So you've got the bard overarching class, and then you have subclasses. And those subclasses are called colleges. And the college that I created that I'm sharing with you today is called the College of the Choir. Now this part gets a little bit more technical in terms of explaining everything, but if you get the Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook, it actually breaks down all the different classes, what they can do, and that's where you would pull all this information from and then add my information onto it. I went ahead and linked the class in the description below, so feel free to open that up in another tab and just read along and follow along as we go through this class. And feel free to leave feedback in the comment section below. And make sure to hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. And if you hit that bell notification icon, it'll let you know anytime I upload anything. So without any further delays, I'm going to go ahead and go through the Holy Bard, College of the Choir. Many serve their gods by being a shining mark, a beacon of hope in their name, or by simply attempting to be a conduit in which they can channel their divine energy through. That is not the way of those of the College of the Choir. Bards of the College of the Choir are God's true voice resonating from the body of a mortal. Bards that come from the College of the Choir do not rely on arcane magics like other bards. They pull their magics from the gods themselves. Through their fantastical praisings, the bards of the College of the Choir are blessed with holy magics that, more often than not, end up making them look down on other bards, seeing their arcane magics as inferior, barbaric. However, they don't let this stop them from seeing these individuals as those to be pitied, those that need their help, those that need to see the light of their god. They need their healing magics. So after that little description of the College of the onto the class itself. After you take this at level 3, you get 3 bonus proficiencies. You get history, medicine, and religion. Now, I chose these 3 with religion being super obvious. And medicine, this class is all about healing. In fact, it's almost a non-combatant class. They can still do stuff, they can still hold their own in a fight, but really what their focus is on healing. And then with history, well, if you've ever met somebody that is a devout follower of any religion, of any belief system, you'll know that they know the ins and outs, they know the history, things that tie into what their religion is, things that are opposed to their religion a lot of times, and I thought that history was a really good fit for that. To make this class a little bit more holy or divine in nature, I went ahead and pulled some spells from the cleric spell list and from the paladin spell list, giving them a little bit more access to things that would fit the class a little bit better. Now these spells in the divine word spell list, you still have to be able to cast them, have to be able to have strong enough spell slots so that you can even use them, but they are available to you for you to learn, and actually you do learn them as you get these spell slots open. They don't count against you. Having them just be available or having them automatically come through and just not count against you is something that I was going back and forth between. So I would love your feedback on which one you think would be a little bit more balanced for the class after hearing about the rest of the class. Now, a big thing with every bard is how they're able to use their bardic inspiration. And for this one, I called it Transcendent Voice. Now, what it lets you do is you can go ahead and give advantage to persuasion or deception rolls. And what advantage is it allows you to go ahead, roll twice, and take the larger of the 2 numbers. And this is on top of the normal bardic inspiration thing where you get to add your bardic inspiration roll to their roll. Mind you, it can only do that for charisma ability checks on persuasion and deception. And this is under the thought that if you have a deity going and pushing you to say the right things, it's almost like giving your blessing to make it so that you can be more cunning or more tactful in how you say things. But the big thing, the really big thing that this class has to offer is what the other thing that the bardic inspiration can do. And that is whenever you roll your bardic inspiration die, you can use that to heal an ally by that much. And under the same rules of just normal bardic inspiration, of them being within 60 feet of you, that can be super powerful, but it is still limited by how many times you can use your bardic inspiration, and it does get stronger as you level up. It's just under the thought that your voice is so holy, divine, transcendent in nature that when you speak the praises of your deity and you throw that inspiration their way, it actually gives them the vigor to fight on, almost like the fighter's second wind or some other features in the game. But of course, it's Dungeons & Dragons, so using that, feel free to flavor it however you want. For the next feature, the Holy Rejuvenation, I went ahead and took one of the features from the Arcane Domain Cleric class, and I also tweaked it a little bit, so that way I could make it my own. For this next feature, I'm just going to go ahead and read it off. Starting at 6th level, when you restore hit points to an ally with a spell 1st level or higher, you can also heal one condition of your choice, other than fatigue, exhaustion, incapacitation, or death on that creature. So a lot of those inconvenient things where it's like you're poisoned, you're asleep, things like that, you're charmed. As you heal them, it also heals a status effect. Now, this does get stronger. At 14th level, you gain the ability to alleviate 1 level of exhaustion by also using Bardic Inspiration whenever you're using this feature. So you're expending a spell slot and a Bardic Inspiration. However, exhaustion does a lot of really bad things, and being able to heal that is something that could come in clutch. Now, starting at 14th level, you get Blessed Aura, which I think is a super cool ability that I pulled from the Paladin class, and then I added an additional feature and tweaked it so that it was all connected in my class. These auras can be of either protection, courage, or soul, and each one does a slightly different thing. And mind you, whenever you're taking a short rest, you can change it from one to another, but you can only have one active at a time. The aura of protection, the aura of courage, are actually pulled straight from the Paladin class. So the aura of protection, whenever a friendly creature is within 10 feet of you, and they must make a saving throw, that creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your charisma modifier with a minimum bonus of +1. Meaning, you as a bard who uses charismas for all your spells, you're probably going to have a higher charisma, so it's something that's really good. The aura of courage, you and a friendly creature within 10 feet of you can't be frightened while you are conscious. Now, mind you, if you don't have this one equipped, but you do get frightened, or like your ally gets frightened, you can use your Holy Rejuvenation to cure that frightened status ailment. And the Aura of Soul, I actually took the damage output from one of the new classes in Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and I tweaked it so instead of doing damage, it does health. So when the Aura of Soul is active, all of the friendly creatures around you actually gain 4 hit points every single time it gets to your turn. Everyone around you within 10 feet, they get 4 additional hit points. Now, this does continue to level up as you level up. So at 16th level, it becomes 5 hit points. And at 20th level, it becomes 6 hit points. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but that can be the difference. Those few hit points can be the difference between you being able to fight on another round or getting knocked unconscious. Or being able to have it so that way you can continue fighting or run away and then heal yourself while your allies continue taking on the immediate threat. Now, these auras are all within 10 feet. However, when you reach 18th level, that radius becomes 30 feet. So now you're able to affect all these people around you, healing them and throwing your transcendent voice out, doing Holy Rejuvenation, and honestly, you're just a bamf whenever it comes to healing. Now, this is all on top of having access to all these other spells that the Divine Word gives you access to. And mind you, a lot of the spells in there are really good. And that's honestly the whole class in a nutshell, but I'm sure if you played it and you play test it, you'll have a lot more things to explore with it. And if you have different ideas, ask your DM. Be like, hey, can I reflavor it for this because this is my deity or something like that? Feel free. And if you do that, please let me know, because I would love to know different ways that this can be tweaked and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you missed my impromptu video, I went ahead and mentioned in there that the art that I want to put into these is actually you guys' art. So I call them my classes, but I want to make it into our classes. And you'll actually see in the form, I put a spot for you to be credited if you do send in art. And where you can submit that, and it is linked in the description below, is just, well, basically art@gmail.com. So let me know, did you like this? Did you not? Is there a different type of class you would like to see? Did I adequately explain what Dungeons & Dragons was in a way that you could understand? Just feel free to comment. Follow me on my Twitter. And I even linked down my Reddit user page. So that way, whenever I upload these things, if I am tweaking it or anything like that, you can keep up to date with the latest forums. Now, not sponsored or anything, just super grateful. I used Natural Crit's home brewery to go ahead and create that content to make it look like actual player's handbook, Dungeons & Dragons official content. And so I just want to give them a shout out. If they do good, then that means I get to keep using them. All right. That all said, have a great day. Bye.